Channel 6 News Weekend.
Barbara Bush filled our lives with laughter and joy, and in the case of her family, she was our teacher and role model on how to live a life of purpose and meaning.
Former Florida Governor Jeb Bush choked back tears as he remembered his mother Barbara Bush and the impact she had on their family and thousands of Americans. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Imani Payne. Chris Rogers has the night off. After a week of public memorials, today those closest to Barbara Bush gathered from around the world to say their final goodbyes during an invitation-only funeral in her hometown of Houston. Jay Gray has a closer look.
It was a service just like the woman, rooted in faith and family.
Barbara Pierce Bush was real, and that's why people admired her and loved her so.
Son Jeb delivering the eulogy. Her grandsons, pallbearers, her granddaughters, ushers and readers during the service.
For what can be seen as temporary, but what cannot be seen as eternal.
1,500 invited guests filled St. Martin's Episcopal Church. Dignitaries from around the world, including President and Secretary Clinton, President and Miss Obama, and current First Lady Melania Trump.
Barbara Bush was the First Lady of the greatest generation.
Friends remembered her for her giving spirit, her strength and loyalty.
She was smart, strong, fun, and feisty.
She called her style a benevolent dictatorship, but honestly, it wasn't always benevolent.
And laughter. Her quick wit remembered as one of her most endearing qualities.
Barbara was washing off her own shoes, and a fellow came up to her and said, "Hey, you look a lot like Barbara Bush." And without missing a beat, Barbara just said, "Yes, I hear that a lot."
As they say she did in life, Miss Bush led her family one last time, leaving church, her final journey winding through Memorial Park, one of her favorite places, ending in College Station at the George H.W. Bush Presidential Library, her final resting place. Jay Gray, NBC News, Houston.
During the service, Jeb Bush pointed out how his parents began writing letters during World War II and continued to do so long after. To commemorate her life and their love, he read one of his father's letters aloud during his eulogy.
Will you marry me? Oops, I forgot we did that 49 years ago. I was very happy on that day in 1945, but I'm even happier today.
Bush died Tuesday at the age of 92 after a battle with heart failure. The private service was part of the second day of paying respects to the former First Lady. After the funeral in Houston, Barbara Bush would travel 90 miles to College Station to find her final resting place at the George Bush Library and Museum. People lined the streets to honor the First Lady as she passed, and that's where we find Channel 6 News reporter Andrew Moore, who joins us now with the details. Andrew.
And the country as a whole. You will hear from them coming up at 10 o'clock. Live in College Station, Andrew Moore, Channel 6 News. Imani?
Alrighty, good information there. Thanks, Andrew. Well, it's time now for our first check of our weather. Meteorologist Zach Scott is standing by with a look at our forecast. Hey, Zach.
Hey there, Imani. Everything so far today is overall evening in a couple more minutes. Imani?
All right, thanks, Zach. The Bush family is finding peace and comfort in the passing of Barbara Bush, and part of that is knowing how deeply she loved and was loved. NBC's Lester Holt has more.
They met at a Christmas dance.
They ever had a better husband.
The loss of the former First Lady is being felt by her loved ones and many others nationwide tonight. And as Dustin Mikowski explains, some of her go-to destinations just won't be the same.
She's a great woman.
Ashlyn Cave helps manage Mabel's Lobster Claw. The quaint seafood spot is a favorite of the Bush family, where they'd come for fried clam in Kennebunkport tonight for a woman who will be missed this summer a lot.
Maine has been a really special place for that family. And
well, still ahead on Channel 6 News Weekend Edition, Temple is one step closer to getting a permanent children's museum downtown. We'll explain.
All right, a live look at DopplerNet again. We're tracking showers moving off towards the northeast, and we've got some stronger thunderstorms off towards the northwest, diving southeast. I'll have the latest on that as it'll impact us through the evening hours, and your full forecast coming up.
Welcome back. Making headlines across the state. 5 people have been arrested after police say they committed murder and then used arson in 2 different counties to try and cover it up. Now, here's a look at the suspects. Grand Prairie police say they were called to a house fire earlier this month. They determined a homicide had taken place inside and the fire was just a cover-up. Then a few days later, officials found a burnt truck with a charred body inside, believed to be the victim of that earlier homicide. Now, after a 10-day hunt, the suspects were tracked down. They're all now facing murder charges. Now to Salado, where the police department is searching for a man involved in a vehicle burglary. Now here's a look at that suspect. He's wearing an orange shirt and has a light colored hair. Police say this man carried out the crime Monday night in the 100 block of South Main Street. If you know anything, contact Salado Police. Now to some lighter news. Temple is one step closer to getting a permanent children's museum downtown. The Temple Children's Museum, which currently travels throughout Bell County, recently announced it has secured a building to call its permanent home. The museum will be located on 2nd Street right here in Temple. Museum leaders say several donors provided the funding for the facility. Renovation plans are in the early stages. No word yet on an opening date. We'll be right back with one last check of your forecast. Stick with us. All right, sounds good. Thanks, Zach. Well, that's all our time for now. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be right back here tonight at 10. Have a good night.